Hey everybody, today is September 23rd, 2016. I hope you can all hear me. This is Friday, and this is our motivational video for today. Now, a lot of you might be asking, how come I'm not yelling or screaming or, running up and down? And it's because today's motivation is for a reason. And today's motivation is going to go to the truth about why in America we do some of the things we do and how we do it. Today I'm going to show you why you need to be motivated. I'm going to show you why we stand for our national anthem. I'm going to show you why you have the right to sit if you want, and you have the right to take a knee if you want to. That is your God-given right. But I'm also going to show you is it may be your right and it may be your choice to do it, and you have the freedom to do that. It is not your privilege to do that. It is not your honor to do that. It is not your, it is your decision to do it, and it is your right to do it. I'm going to reverse my camera and I'm going to tell you why. This here are where all the men and women of every battle and every skirmish in just my little hometown are buried. The reason why we do what we do today is for the men and women that gave up their life and their freedom so you can have the choices you make today. My motivation to you today is these men and women gave their life so you could live. They gave up this right here, this one cemetery in the United States, and there are many, many thousands like it. There are dreams in this cemetery that have gone unchallenged. There are goals that are not reached. There are inventions. This is not my speech, by the way. There are inventions that will go and never be discovered. These men and women from every walk of life, every culture, every creed, every religion, died either in battle, in combat, in peacetime, or in retirement. But one thing that every one of them gave up is their freedom so you could have yours. They spilled their blood. Their last breath is into that flag that you have the right to kneel for, but you do not have the privilege of kneeling for. If you want to know what a hero is, and you want to know somebody that gave up everything, these proud men and women are letting you live your life you want to live today. They alone have the privilege of kneeling on one knee during the national anthem. They alone have the privilege of sitting during our colors. Why? Because they earned that right. You may have the right, but you never earned it. You never earned the devotion. These men and women, you may have came up with an excuse like, oh, I was going to join the military, I was going to do this. These men and women did. You don't get their honor, you don't get their credit, but what you do get is you get the freedom that they gave you. Today, as we're looking at these graves, today as we see, our motivation is to live because that's what they died for, is so you can live in a land of free, so you can go after your dreams and goals. Each time you go running and you give up, you remember they never gave up on you. Do not give up on yourself. See, this isn't about people. This is about you. They never gave up on you. So why would you give up on yourself? Motivation, you need to have a goal. And when you go after that goal, you go after it. Because a lot of these men and women never had a choice. They were drafted into Vietnam. They fought in World War II. They died in World War I. The Spanish-American War, you name it. Our ground is red for the blood that they spilled, for the limbs they lost, for the family members they never got a chance to ever meet, for the single 18-year-old, 17-year-olds that joined and never once got to have a family because before they could ever live their life, they died so you could have your life. This is my motivation to you today. Each one of these men and women that are buried in all these beautiful cemeteries throughout the United States, they ask one thing of you. Live your life because they cannot. Live for them because they made the choice to make sure you could always have that freedom to do it. You're right, you got the right to kneel, but these men and women have the privilege of standing. They stood for you on the battlefields. They stood for you in peacetime and in wartime. They stood for you when you weren't even alive or born. You have to understand why they stood for you. Every time you give up on yourself, you're telling them off. You're telling them that they don't matter. Well, let me ask you this. Every time that you think it's okay to take a knee during the national anthem, every time that you give up on your goals or your dreams or you get into something and you give up, remember this, they never had that opportunity to give up. And they did it with their dying breath so that you could live every day. When I say get motivated every day, when I do these videos, this is who I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the men and women who cannot live their dreams anymore. This cemetery alone is worth over $1 trillion. From dreams that went undreamt, goals unfulfilled, families never created, sons and daughters who lost their moms and dads who lost their sons and daughters. Every day we need to be grateful because these men and women made it free. We are not a dictatorship. We are a republic for the people and by the people. So my motivation today is live for them. Live for each one of them because they lived for you and they died for you. These are hollow ground. Hollow ground of the men and women who want you to succeed. They want you to have freedom because they no longer can. And they can only live through you. Why be motivated? Because these men and women, they charged hills. They went into enemy territory. They watched their brothers and sisters and their fellow comrades die in bloody deaths right in front of them, and they still had to keep moving forward. Our brothers and sisters in military have had bombs blow up in their face. People point blank put a gun to their head and shoot them. Our men and women of Vietnam didn't know the enemy from friend and every single day lived a terrifying life, but they did it for you. They didn't ask to die. They didn't ask anything of anybody other than to live your life. You want to know why you don't have the privilege? Because you never earned that privilege to kneel during the national anthem. You can protest anything you want. That's your God-given right. But their God-given right gave you that privilege. That's why we stand for the national anthem. That's why we stand for our colors. And you know how I know you didn't earn it? Because you went out and played football while they went out and stormed the beaches. You went to college and went to keg parties while they sat in the desert, alone, cold. They sat in the jungles in fighting holes, rain on, no food, while you sat in a comfy, air-conditioned dorm, or you sat at your parents' home eating a good food, good meal. They stormed beaches. You don't want to know their history because you don't want to know what our flag represents. Well, here's your motivation. Live for today. Because if you don't live for the day and you don't respect why these men and women died, you're going to lose those rights. Our rights are rice paper thin. You need to listen to your leaders and your mentors when they sit there and tell you how you could do more with your life, how you can be better, because they are there. They're doing it, and they want you to do even better than they are. These are your leaders. These are the true leaders that led the way for our freedoms. This is your motivation today. This is what's important today. If you get mad at somebody because of the color of their skin or their sexuality, you think of these men and women who fought so people can have freedom of color, of sexuality. They can be who they want to be. And every time that you're a racist, prejudiced, sexist, and all that other stuff, you're spitting and peeing on these people's graves and tell them they don't matter. Every time that you basically make somebody feel bad because they're straight or because they're gay or because they're bisexual or because they're black, because they're white, because they're green, because they're yellow, you're spitting on the graves of the men and women who gave us these rights to be able to live in a land where we can live together and not worry about those petty little indifferences. When you take a knee saying, I'm doing it, no. We are not perfect in the United States, and we know that. And these men and women knew that too. But every day we're fighting to get better. Every day we stand behind that flag because we know that nobody else's flag gives us anybody else those rights. This is your motivation. Your motivation is to live because they died for you. Do not judge people based on color, creed, religion, race, sex. Do not base your life because of racism or sexism. You need to base your life on your goals and on your dreams and setting bigger goals for yourself and giving 110%. Because why? Because they can't do it anymore. They never had that right. They died knowing things are not perfect, but they will get better. They died knowing that that flag will always be flying high for rights and freedoms. This is your motivation today. These men and women, be kind to each other. Go out and love each other. Go shake the hands of those that you don't know. Give hugs to those that you do. Be more today than you've ever been before, because every time you don't get out of bed, every time you're like, oh, I'm just too lazy, just remember these men and women were storming beaches at 18 years old. These men and women were sitting in veterans' homes, and their families, they have none, would not even come visit, because people take our freedoms for granted. And they try to twist and turn based on their own ideas of what freedom is. Well, freedom means freedom for everybody. Freedom means I can be friends who I want to be with, when I want to be friends with them, how I want to be friends with them. And freedom was never free. It cost us trillions of dollars, blood, sweat, tears, families that do not exist, kids that were never born. Cancers that came from the battlefield. But they knew that through our flag and everything else that we would live on, and we were going to get better. And we're going to keep reminding people that we need to get better. We need to do more. This is your motivation today. These men and women cannot do nothing else for us anymore because they already gave their lives. And all they ask is that we live ours. Be a better parent today. Be a better business person today. Go out there and reach your goals. Set your goals higher. And each time you do a goal, you have made these people proud. You have honored who they are because you took advantage and you lived in a country that you can be who you want to be and you can be free. Whether it's a network marketing business or whether you're a factory worker or a truck driver, you're free today. That alone should be your motivation. Free to be who you want to be and not worry about what others think. Our forefathers basically made it very clear. Benjamin Franklin said it best when they basically sent the king the letter. We're all going to hang together. And you know what? Now, with thousands of cemeteries throughout the United States, Anything that goes on now, we will all hang together. You may fight each other in the streets or on social media, but come the end, we all fight together or we die together. And if we become individuals, we'll get nowhere. So today, please keep in mind that if you want motivation, look no farther than the cemeteries of all the lost dreams, lost goals, inventions never created. Look no farther than those that are restricted to a bed, body parts missing, men and women who came home but their minds did not, veterans who are homeless on the streets today yet you've got a job, people that never got the chance to go to college. They never got a chance to see their nieces and nephews grow up. Mothers and fathers, kids who are outliving their mothers and fathers who are outliving their kids. Bring your kids to the cemetery. Let them know what true heroes are. Because these heroes, they're done. They are in heaven, or they're waiting to get in heaven, or wherever they want to go, but they did it for you and you alone. This, my friends, is your motivation video today. This, my friends, is what we live for freedom. Our motivation, when you want to run that extra mile, run that extra mile. They had to storm beachheads and they had to run many miles, otherwise they'd be shot and killed. The veterans have to live with what they saw their brothers and sisters go through. Some men and women never come home from what they have to witness, but they did it because of their country. Today, in business, go out there and be the best business owner you can be. Hire the vets. Be the best factory worker you can be. Be the best truck driver you can be. Go out there and be the best parent you can be. Because in some cases, people don't have their kids anymore. In other cases, people don't have their parents anymore. They lived for us and died for us. Now let us go out there, get motivated, get our head out of the clouds. Understand that, you know what, accidents happen every day. Failure happens every day. You must get up, keep going. Get up, get going. If our forefathers gave up and said, oh, let's go ahead and just keep it England. If during World War II, they just decided, Germany's not that bad, let's go ahead, we would not be where we're at today. If we let Imperial Japan go ahead and just start running the world, and Germany running the world, you would not have freedom today. Every one of these people out here I love, I respect, and I cherish. Some went during war, during peacetime, others went in old age, but they all went together for one purpose in mind. So you can get motivated every day and get out there and live. I pledge my allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You're right, you don't have to stand up. But remember this. These men and women will never stand up again. They will never be able to understand where our country is going. They can't help you in your business today because they already gave you the freedom to have business today. Every time you're negative to somebody, every time they fought during adversity. They fought while Jews were being slaughtered. They fought for black freedoms and women's rights. They fought to escape a king. They fought for a country. And they died for all of us. The next battle, the next war is with each one of us, and what and how, what we do next. Ask yourself, did you accomplish your goals today? Did you go that extra step? Because tomorrow's not promised. live together, we die together, and we must get motivated to honor these hallowed ground. The dead is now silent. They have no more voice, but they spoke loud for their cause. I have but one life to give for my country. Thank you, everybody.